It is entirely different, an entirely different ballgame when the Secretary of Health comes out and says, this group of people with this specific condition, they're not contributing Americans. It's really, frankly, horrifying in 2025.
And the most striking thing is how blatantly false that is. Even just given the Trump administration in the cabinet, we have Elon Musk, who is diagnosed with ASD. He's on the spectrum. He's autistic himself. Is the most wealthy individual on the planet. He's contributing, probably not in the greatest ways, but he's contributing. And I think he can use the toilet. I'm pretty sure.
I think it would have come up by now.
We've done our homework. We know what we're talking about. We know why we're angry. Let's get into it. Welcome to today's episode. I am with my co-hosts, Aaron and Devin. Say hey, guys.
Hey.
And today we're going to take a bit of a somber subject and also an infuriating one. So hopefully we get some of that good justice fury going today. We are going to take a critical look at the rhetoric and policy proposals of Robert F. Kennedy Jr., now Secretary of Health and Human Services, and his comments, his philosophies, his proposals, their impact on neurodiverse communities. From promoting discredited theories about autism and ADHD to proposing controversial initiatives like wellness farms and disability rights rollbacks, RFK Jr.'s approach has sparked alarm amongst medical professionals, disability advocates, and neurodivergent individuals alike. The three of us here fit all three of those categories. We have medical professionals, disability advocates, and neurodivergent individuals, all three of us here. I'm going to pass off the mic to Aaron for moderating a conversation on RFK Jr. Let's remember to breathe. We got this. Okay, Aaron.
I know, it's a lot. It's a lot. Like my rage and fury are visceral right now. Whew, gotta breathe.
Yeah.
So we have Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is an unqualified, untrained person that's in charge of being the Secretary of Health and Human Services. And he, his background was in law and I think really just conspiracy
I was going to say his background is being a Kennedy.
Yeah, being a Kennedy.
Mm-hmm. That's enough.
Yeah, there was a lot of very normal people who came out of the Kennedy clan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Famously, a group of upstanding, self-loving, confident, and good Samaritan individuals. Like famously, no problems in that family.
Is there behind the bastards on
there
the Kennedys?
There absolutely is on RFK.
Okay.
So actually pitching for a podcast that we, some of us here love, and I certainly hope Robert Evans is listening sometime, somewhere. But the episode on RFK Jr. is excellent. And it really is, in all seriousness, it's a two-parter. It becomes less about Robert and it's more about the Kennedy family and the insane patriarchal, toxic mask sort of like education that all of the Kennedy boys are given as they grow up, and how it really is a pervasive culture amongst that family. And RFK is no different than his father and his father's brothers. And they're all inculcated with the same philosophies from a very young age.
Well, to jump right in, I think one of the heinous things and alarming things that RFK has said recently is that autism is caused by vaccines, which we know is patently false, has been discredited, has been disproven, and there is absolutely no evidence behind that. But he's spreading these false rumors and conspiracies, which are very damaging. And I wanted to just go to this article that I found, autisticadvocacy.org, and they basically broke down some of the information on this. And they said that comes from his vaccine conspiracy stuff comes from this fraudulent 1998 publication. Mm-hmm. And the person that did that was Andrew Wakefield.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. That guy, actually, his medical license was revoked and the publication removed that journal article because of inconsistencies and errors, and just the way that he went about doing the research wasn't scholarly in the least.
Not to double, triple down, but there is also a Behind the Bastards on Andrew Wakefield. And just to give you an idea of the title, it is Andrew Wakefield, the worst doctor alive. That's the title of the Behind the Bastards episode on Andrew Wakefield.
So we have a number of bastards showing up.
I think we're about to see a pattern of bastards of main characters in one of our favorite shows about horrible medical practitioners. So Andrew Wakefield is an important name to remember and fear.
Nice.
If I recall, I think he also introduced a competing vaccine after leading with this argument that vaccines cause autism. So he really was a snake oil salesman, if I've ever heard of one.
A competing vaccine to do what?
Not cause autism, allegedly. But my understanding is that it was, again, it was also inextricably linked to fraudulent studies. It was just him trying to make a profit off of this claim that is now still part of the cultural zeitgeist decades later.
So the through line is like this vaccine conspiracy stuff. That's what I'm picking up on. The RFK just has this disbelief that vaccines even work, right. Which is mind blowing to me. Having taken 8th grade science class, right? It's like, if you learn the most basic things about vaccines, you just realize that vaccines have been a revolutionary advancement in medicine that have helped prevent all sorts of diseases, and they've prevented the deaths of millions of people over the years, right? And I think that like this perpetuation of autism, neurodiversity, or any sort of neurodiverse brain wiring being caused by a vaccine or anything else is just perpetuating these really horrible, harmful stereotypes. And like, I think in the 80s, there was this stereotype as well surrounding refrigerator mothers and how that was the cause of autism. It might have even been earlier. It might have been in the 50s or 60s, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. But that was the original conspiracy theory surrounding autism, is that it was caused by bad parenting. and aloof parenting or something like that, which
is not all that dissimilar for like the bulk of human history, like from in multiple cultures across time, right? If a kid had a condition, it was considered either probably faith-based, like some demonic or spirit, or right. This is a curse of some kind. We've done something bad morally to deserve this, or it's the parents' fault. It goes back out like hundreds and thousands. These parents suck. If that kid is like that,
for sure, yeah, it's like that low hanging fruit where let's blame the parent. They're an easy target. Or the person must have brought this on themselves because they're spiritually corrupt and morally, whatever. No.
And there's something I want to point out here as well. There was a documentary on PBS called In a Different Key that I ended up watching last year, maybe 2023. Time is an illusion. But to your point, when mothers were blamed for autism, the psychiatrist that was responsible for that claim had a doctorate in art history. So at no point was he even qualified to make that assertion.
Cool.
In art history.
Cool. Correct.
Cool. Hey, attention different fam, we've got an e-course for you. It's called Thriving with Adult ADHD. If you've ever felt stuck starting tasks, overwhelmed by managing your energy, or unsure how to build routines that actually work, this course is for you. Again, that's Thriving with Adult ADHD. Inside, you'll learn practical strategies to help you focus, strengthen your relationships, and feel more in control of your day-to-day life. With over 2 hours of video lessons and an 80-page workbook, you'll walk away with tools you can use right away to not just survive, but thrive with adult ADHD. Head to attentiondifferent.com now to get started.
I just want to get to the point where we're not taking our medical advice from lawyers and doctors in art history. Like, can we have qualified professionals put into these positions?
Seems like a pipe dream.
Yeah, they'll get blamed for the same conspiracy too. That's the double damage that he deals. It not only in an immediate sense are people not getting the vaccines that they need or being admonished or shamed for it, but the knock-on effect, a long-term effect, is put more money in that bank, in the white coat fright bank, put in more energy and power behind people who are afraid of any kind of doctor, any kind of specialist. And it's funny you said that, like, the greater tragedy is this, like, convincing the world that vaccines cause autism. I would argue, maybe not argue, but add that a 30,000 feet above broad strokes, capital T tragedy, do you know all those qualifiers? Is that he is institutionalizing a fear of medicine, right? Because he's going to kill people with these decisions actively.
Yes.
And he's the
And has.
Secretary of Health
Absolutely.
and Sciences. And I'll point to one example, a prime example of this, the polio vaccine. RFK has also double talked about the polio vaccine. When Trump got freaked out, they were going to lose constituents and lose votes, he said, yo, no, we're going to keep the polio vaccine, obviously. And RFK said, yeah, we're going to obviously goes on to conservative talk show radio and says the exact opposite, makes the claim that, and we're quoting RFK, and this is an incorrect statement. But he suggested that polio vaccines caused cancer and killed many more people than it saved. He used the phrase, quote, many more people than it saved, right?
Wow.
So this is a guy who is double dealing, right? In the public eye will say, no, the polio vaccine is staying, I promise. And then go on to a podcast which we can all listen to and say, I hate the polio vaccine. I think it killed more people than it saved, right? So this double speak, this lie, this just giant lie in front of our face that we all get to watch is insufferable. It drives me insane because I know that there are people who are only getting one or the other. And the whole thing is fucked. So yeah, prepare yourself, strap in for 10, 20, 25, 50 years of people not believing in medicine, like distrusting doctors because of this man.
To me, it's like mind-boggling how we let these powerful individuals get into these positions of power and then spread such vitriolic, hate-filled lies that damage people. And he even has I think he has a nonprofit. It does this whole vaccine misinformation campaign kind of stuff. And maybe if someone can look up what that
I did, yeah,
nonprofit is.
I mean, I hope it's not what I think.
But it's in Samoa.
Robert F. Kennedy Human Rights home RFK Community Alliance in Massachusetts.
Yeah, something
RFK
like
Center
that.
for Human Rights. I mean, again, all wrapped up rhetoric, right? Just human rights, the rights of parents, rights of humans, etc.
But in a recent measles outbreak, which obviously we've seen some of these measles outbreaks in Texas and other places, right? That I think have more conservatives per capita in those areas listening to these right-wing talk shows and Fox News and places like that. Mm-hmm. So they're getting their information from these places or the misinformation and they're acting on it. And then they're not vaccinating their kids, which is leading to huge thousands of people in these areas, children having measles, which is completely preventable, right? From the MMR vaccines, which every child should get. Measles, mumps, and rubella, right? That's that MMR vaccine.
Yeah.
And I think I think that's the one that's related to what he's saying causes autism is this MMR vaccine. If I'm not mistaken.
Measles, there are 16 outbreaks defined as 3 or more related cases and can be considered as an epidemic.
There we go.
Between 2019 and 2025.
His nonprofit misinformation outfit out there. There was a recent outbreak in Samoa, and I'm reading here that basically 5,700 people were infected with measles and 83 people died.
Yeah.
And that's just recently directly related to him and his organization spreading this stuff. So it's we're not just being hyperbolic here saying this causes harm, this causes death, this can be very detrimental. No, it's already out there. It's already happening.
It does. And so I want to bring us back to a dehumanizing element, because when you said, Aaron sent us the a reminder, a refresher this morning before we hopped on, just a consolidation of all the crap. And one of the things that I remembered was his very specific rhetoric around dehumanizing folks with autism, and not almost actually doing the same for ADHD folks as well. The farms, the wellness farms. We'll get to that in a second. But his language surrounding autism is does not just pertain to vaccines and anti-vax rhetoric. He is using language that devalues a human being's life. He has said that most uses the words like most people with autism, will not be able to pay taxes, will not be able to hold a job, will not be able to essentially be a contributing member to society, which just means like earn money, spend
Their
money.
value as a human being.
Earn money, spend money.
The whole logic is placing them as a burden onto society versus people with their own agency.
Yeah, and in perhaps one of the most shocking, disgusting, and overt ways from that seat of power in particular. It is one thing for some preacher in Bumblefuck Who Caresville coming out and saying this stuff about kids with autism. It is entirely different, an entirely different ballgame when the Secretary of Health comes out and says this group of people with this specific condition, they're not really people. They're definitely not Americans. They're not contributing Americans. So we got to figure out what to do with these problems. It's really, frankly, horrifying in 2025 on news, television, 24/7 in front of your face.
And and the most striking thing is how blatantly false that is. Even just given the Trump administration and the cabinet, we have Elon Musk, who is diagnosed with ASD. He's on the spectrum. He's autistic himself. And he's has a job, is the most wealthy individual on the planet. And he's contributing, probably not in the greatest ways, but he's contributing. And I think he can use the toilet. I'm pretty sure.
I think it would have come up by now.
Yeah.
He knows
I wonder if they've met. I wonder if they've met. Have they shaken hands? Have they met in the Oval Office?
He clearly knows enough about human fluid to procreate.
Oh, yeah. He's having a lot of babies. Yeah.
Don't get me started on that.
Clearly knows enough how to procreate. It's the death of Stalin level of absurd when like the people at the top calling each other out while simultaneously disenfranchising all of us, right? And then them getting into pissing wars because like, yo, I'm on the spectrum. Like, and being like, oh, no, but not you, right? You're like the exception. That it's all comedy. That's a comedy. That's hilarious that those two people were at one point in
comedy of errors.
So such a comedy of errors. And this language about autistic humans, this is about humans, about people. And we can laugh because it is absurd.
Yeah.
It is really infuriating that it's not just funny, it's extremely dangerous and damaging and fucking up some little kid's life right now. There's a little kid out there whose parents are, and I'm not blaming parents, I'm saying parents, teachers, people of authority who respect his opinion are like devastating children around the planet. That's all I can think about are just a bunch of children in the country whose people of authority are believing him and are being devastated right now.
Yeah, and I'm not above saying that those parents have direct responsibility. At least there's been one documented instance in which a child has died from measles and their father was still proud to have not vaccinated them against it. And that is something that they had spoken to in the news. And I think that that person can be held responsible for the decisions they make because while folks are wanting for parents' abilities to choose, they're also forgetting that they're choosing on behalf of someone else who doesn't have the ability to.
Yeah, that's a good point, Devin.
Amen. Not to bring, actually, no, definitely bring it back. Behind the Bastards. Great series. Hope we're related one day. Hope we get to be on it. There's another series on autism. You'll note that Robert Evans has disclosed himself. I'm not blowing up someone's spot that he is ADHD. And whenever there are bastards who are associated with the medical world, and particularly if they do things to kids who have complex mental conditions, Robert will bring this up. And the two-parter on, I believe it's called The Grifters Behind the Fake Autism Cure Industry is the title of this two-parter. And in it, like Andrew Wakefield shows up. A lot of these characters show up in it, but it's really about the core. He speaks, I think, and I'll find the quote while we're talking and rapping about it. But again, this dehumanization element of it is horrifying for the grift, right? What these medical grifters, and there's a history of this, 100 plus years history of this. What these medical grifters are doing is hawking bullshit science, right? So like you may have heard chelation therapy, right? Chelation therapy is a therapy used for minors who have too much metal toxicity. It is to purge their body of a toxic level of metals. It's called chelation therapy. Now, the thing is, it's pretty profound for a career minor who can save a life. You can save a life. It's a profound therapy. It is extremely painful and time consuming, and it is done to fully grown adults. But there was a movement of using chelation therapy to cure autism. And they were performing this insanely painful, more painful than a spinal tap, because it's something they have to keep going back and do and over and over and over and over again. It's a long stretch of time for children with autism and ADHD, by the way. Some ADHD kids got treated with chelation therapy. And this comes from that conspirituality group, right? This group that believes in some kind of either faith-based or rest your soul, Steve Jobs, all fruit-based diets, like these people who believe that I'm going to cure cancer or autism or ADHD with this alternative medicine that is normally used or useful for something entirely different, but then gets hawked by these grifters because it's expensive and it takes a long time and wealthy customers have to keep coming back. So to your point, Devin, to all of those parents of privilege, POPs, pops, all those parents of privilege who took their poor fucking children to one of these witch doctors to treat a condition with an absolutely unrelated, not helpful, and actually harmful treatment, go fuck yourself. I agree, Devin. There is a ring of people who are absolutely rejecting and denying modern science and taking the snake oil from the snake oil salesman and giving it to their kids. And they can go fuck themselves.
Absolutely. And I think there's also something kind of concerning around this being on the state level, right? Federally. There's reminders of the eugenics movement, where scientists were worried that someone could be born too fat or too stupid or too poor, and making the gene pool less pure, and would seek to remove those folks by sterilizing them and not even giving consent. One person, for example, would be taken in being told that they are sick. They would be given like a hysterectomy, for example, and would only find out that this had been performed on them when they were trying to understand why they couldn't conceive later down the line.
Yeah.
And disproportionately targeting people, communities of color, poor communities, brown, black, American Indian communities. Horrible. Horrible.
And it's 2025, and RFK is one of those grifters.
Yes. And he has power. Yeah. A grifter with power.
Power. We gave him so much power. And he's one of this long line of same shit, different day. You know, same shit, different fake doctor. Lobotomies, man. The history of lobotomies back in the Victorian era. The lobotomy doctor in the van who would go around the country and stab people with ice picks.
On lobotomies, there was a Kennedy, what is her name? Is it Anne? It was one of the Kennedy daughters.
Oh, dear God.
Who actually... her
right.
father gave her a lobotomy, and she was never the same again because they believed in that.
Rosemary Kennedy,
science. Rosemary
daughter.
Kennedy.
Yeah, the oldest.
So there's a history even in this family of doing terrible things.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I want to share too kind of a personal side of this too, because I was in tears really when he said this stuff, and we're laughing about some of this stuff now, but I was thinking about my clients. I was turning to the influencers and people I follow who are on the spectrum, and I was watching their videos and what they were saying about this, and it brought tears to my eyes because I was relating to a lot of what they were saying and the hurt, the pain that I could feel coming through from them, the denial of their existence, the diminishment of their contributions, of who they are, what they bring to this world. To me, that was so painful. And I've met so many beautiful, very talented, very capable individuals that are on the spectrum who do all sorts of things. And not to mention, it doesn't even matter, like, honestly, how productive or what they do, right? I mean, I think we got to think about the value we put on people in this capitalist narrative that everything is about production or what you do, because there's, I think, intrinsic value here too of people. And parents will say this too, right? It's like, this is my child. They're a human being, whether they're verbal, nonverbal, level 1, level 2, whatever functional, kind of like contributions or whatever label you want to put on it. Doesn't matter. These are people. They're loved. They're someone's child, right? And it's just inhumane, and devastating for someone to be told that their child is worthless and should be exterminated. Is I think what they're getting at, right?
Literally,
and it's scary because I think we're getting to this place where we have gene editing therapies, CRISPR, that type of stuff, where you can preemptively do things like this. I don't think none of this has really been done in a lot of countries yet. I think China has done some of this stuff, right? Like use gene editing on humans. And currently it's not allowed right now in the US, but with things like this, it could change very quickly. And that's the scary part, is that he wants to create an autism registry.
And you're right. You're right that we are around in that Dr. George Church, he tried to bring back the dire wolf, right? Like he's the dire wolf guy, the de-extinction doctor.
Yeah.
Allegedly,
right? And also, for the record, none of that's true. None of it is de-extinction. He's just bringing back together sort of hybrid species, not bringing back.
It wasn't an actual dire wolf.
It's not, nor is it a real
white
mammoth.
Wolf.
Nor it is a real mammoth. It's not a mammoth, the company that he's consulting for. It's not a mammoth. It's an Asian elephant with a lot of fur. So all that's bullshit. But it kind of in the same like Elizabeth Holmes, like in the sort of medical grifter way, Dr. George Church went from being, and this is the toughy part of him, an extremely highly intelligent genius, gene doctor. I mean, his research has been both extremely beneficial to the scene, but now he's reaching that outlive your cool. It's a polite way of putting it, but he's in that place now where it's shifted from doctor guy to CEO corporate salesman guy who just wants to make money for investors. And the kick he's on now, gene editing, you guessed it. And he started with kids, and then got a bunch of blowback. So then he went to dogs. Like he wants to clone, like dog cloning, and the company that he's hawking shit is through pets. But he, in interviews, is using the rhetoric. And when pressed by people saying, but isn't that illegal? You can't clone a human. You can't do something. He'll be like, well, not everywhere. That's not true everywhere. Right? He just pushing back for the thrill of science, right? No ethic, no morality, just, oh no, it'll happen though. Maybe not during my lifetime, but it'll happen because it's not illegal everywhere.
I'm sure we have zero cautionary tales around that in a vast array of literary works.
Yeah, just the idea of that's one of the moments that Robert talked about his own ADHD. It was like, he said the same thing, Aaron. It sounds genocidal. The language is starting to sound genocidal, right? A neurodiversity genocide.
Destruction of a people in whole or in part.
An entire culture. An entire culture of people gone. I'm not trying to doomsday there. I am speaking directly to the truth of the words he's using. Yep. RFK. It's directly to the truth of the words he's using.
Eugenics policies are genocidal in nature, and they were perpetuated by the Nazis, right? And American Nazis, we'll call them.
And Henry Ford.
No, when Nazi Germany started doing that, there were scientists here that said that the Germans are beating us at our own game. I studied this undergrad, so that's still have that book.
Yeah. And they were using the playbook, this American playbook. The Nazis based a lot of their theories on race and purity and racial purity, that kind of stuff, on essentially the way the U.S. targeted, systematically, obliterated the Native American populations. Yeah, who were here, and how they were attacked and stripped of their rights, stripped of their land, cut their hair, took away the culture, took away language, prevented them from passing down traditions, history, forced them to dress like white people, just this horrible history, and experimented on them, right? Experimented on them with all sorts of things. Not to go down too far into this.
Well, no, but rarely, Aaron, have you given me the instinct to do like a bit, but all I could hear in my head was a German being like, if you imagine the Nazis and Hitler as a startup and a tech CEO, and they're starting a new app, and he's like, so if you want to get all the Jews out of here and all the people we don't like, we want to get everybody out. Who's done it best, you guys? Let's steal. The best people steal, right? Who's done it best? Looking out into the world, and they go through is it Cambodia? Is it Central America? Maybe it's Cuba. No, who's really good at this? America's really good at this. We should call America and see how they did it. Remember the Native Americans? Neither do I. Let's call America. That's all that's playing in my head.
It's all about that iterative design.
That's what I'm saying. It feels like an iterative design skit, right? No, they did it, but we can do it better.
I think that's a thing that doesn't get talked about enough. Huge proponent of making sure that folks are aware that this is also part of our history. So when you see someone protesting in the current climate and they have a sign that says this isn't who we are, I unfortunately have to tell you that, yes, this is exactly who we are.
Yeah.
It's just, it requires diligent effort from all of us to continue to combat it. Not just now, but for the foreseeable future. Even beyond that.
Yep. There's a lot of protesting that we're going to need to be doing.
Well, Speaking of,
Yeah.
I'm having a very strange out of body experience this 6 months since RFK's been there. For the longest time, I wonder if you guys have shared this experience. For the longest time, as an avid news listener and medical news guy, I mean, obviously, here is attention different. I have, in terms of stories, allegories, stuff in the news about the brain and grifters and snake oil salesmen and doctors, autism has been top of mind for a while now. For like a decade, us folks have been discussing this sort of like nasty, awful rhetoric, anti-vaccine rhetoric around autism. We've been having this conversation. But ADHD was never directly a target of that level of disgusting misinformation, this, that, and the third, right? We were battling our own battle, but it was never like, oh, ADHD is caused by, the closest thing we got to it was like some TBI folks who would talk about prenatal like TBIs and like that making ADHD. And we would have to have like a conscientious debate about like TBIs and trauma and this sort of thing. That's about the level of, you know what I mean? Kind of strange gray area that we'd get to. Never like the, oh, you gave your kid a polio vaccine and he got autism, right? Or he got ADHD, rather. All of a sudden, to be reading articles and hearing statements from our Secretary of Health that ADHD kids are going to be put in wellness farms and removed from their psychiatric medications and put into forced labor camps to like help like work their ADHD out of them. Like, this is the first time, how cliche, that I feel all of a sudden like my siblings and I are being attacked rather than just my siblings.
In the past, there was a denial, I think, more than anything, of like, oh, this doesn't exist.
Right. Or everyone's a little ADHD.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is still current. I've had friends that have had conversations with their current primary care provider, and that was how they were rebuked when trying to get assistance for their ADHD.
Yeah, the boys will be boys kind of thing, or it's childhood behavior.
Rowdy. He's just rowdy. You're right, though. It was dismissive. It wasn't. There's what do you call the other version then? Like the vaccines cause autism. If ADHD received dismissive.
Well, I guess they're coming to the point where they're admitting, okay, well, this is a real condition. It's a real difference in brain wiring. But now we think it's like they're pointing to whatever the cause it is that they're promoting that has nothing to do with science. Yeah.
Right.
If you could work ADHD out of someone's system, I would have been cured several times over at this point.
Yeah, all those workouts. Me too, right? All the sports I played and all the stuff. Yeah.
You know what's so funny about going to the gym every single day? My ADHD doesn't go away.
Oh yeah, it's still there.
And that's so weird.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm sort of more mindful and in my ADHD body after the gym. Like I come,
maybe we just need to put you in a camp and have you dress in, just like we'll have you dressed in some prison garb, and I think that might help.
I love to be ostracized. Yeah. We love an ostracization. You know what I mean? Like just a little light sprinkle of excommunication.
Mrs. Dash,
I love being kicked out of my family and my tribe.
If they think they're going to separate me from my stimulants, I'm going to somehow be more productive. They're going to be sorely disappointed.
There is can we talk about the both hilarious, both really not implications of removing large swaths of people off of psychiatric meds, like SSRIs.
He's even promoting that, which is so crazy. He says SSRIs are habit forming or addictive, which is like, I don't know that I don't know how he got there. Right.
Folks are addicted to not being depressed. What the hell?
It's like, no. I don't know anyone, right? Any addiction specialist out there. I mean, there's people that will claim amphetamine-based, stimulant-based stuff is addictive, right? And yes, I think there is some evidence out there that if misused, misappropriated, diverted, if someone has past substance use issues, then yes, stimulants and varieties of those meth, that type of stuff can be addictive, right? However, I don't know anyone who has ever claimed, any scientist, anyone from the addiction community. Right. That's like, oh yeah, no, you're Zoloft. Like that's a street drug.
Xannies though.
Xannies, those can get bad. That's abuse of the substance though. That is not informed or responsible usage.
Yeah, and can we do the bar guy version of this? Because all I can hear is a dude from Boston who's like, hey man, listen, that dude, he's gonna find that speed somewhere. You know what I mean? Like I hear my bar guy and he's like, wait, isn't this a problem of like John needs speed? Meaning like there are people who did not go to medical school who understand the low hanging fruit of like, this guy is a much nicer dude. I like hanging out with him when he takes those stimulants. He's more calm. He's more like he gets his shit done. He cleans up the house. And when he doesn't, he's a fucking nightmare and I can't stand him. Right. Like and if he doesn't take those, he's going to do a bunch of coke and it's much worse. And I hate that guy. Like I've had this conversation with a blue collar guy at a bar who understood simply that when my friend is on this medicine, I can handle him as a friend at the bar. And when he's not or doing other drugs instead of that drug that he got from a doctor, he's a fucking monster and a nightmare. And I'm like, when you can do basic math as a human for your friends, what else do you need? Like, thankfully, that guy has a primary example in front of him. Right? That he goes, oh yeah, I could point to, I'm making up the name, right? But Danny, Danny's so much better when he's on his meds, right? I've heard this in New York. I've heard this specifically about SSRIs. There's a groundswell of awareness, and I'm going to say something weird, but thank you TikTok, thank you COVID.
What?
For doing one thing very important, I believe, for our community. It did pump like adrenaline into the the DIY self educating of complex mental conditions. I think there was a pretty large stigma charge removed from complex mental health conditions at large for like Zoomers and millennials during that time. So I find people our age more comfortable on a Tuesday, Thursday talking about bipolar, talking about depression, talking about anxiety. It's just more acceptable to talk about. And when I hear man on the street, woman on the street, person on the street, just an average Joe talking about this stuff comfortably, they're starting to get it. It's not complicated.
I would agree that, yeah, it did raise the level of awareness because there has been a lot more influencers and personalities,
right.
TikTok, Instagram, those folks, who are putting their stories out there and are speaking about this stuff. I would also say that at the same time, I think the vaccine conspiracy stuff that blew up
was also getting the same.
Now it's like this.
Yeah.
They're coming together, right? There's this intersection of, well, we have more awareness and an uptick in some cases of diagnosis or at least screenings. I think there's been some amount of data out there that's shown that there was an uptick in the diagnosis during the years of COVID of like ADHD, ASD. Other conditions, those aren't the only ones, right? Depression, anxiety, like there's an uptick largely because people were at home and parents were at home with their kids for the longest amount of time trying to get them homeschooled on these terrible virtual platforms. Yeah. And seeing behavior firsthand that they didn't see.
Right. In the worst context. Yeah.
That's part of it. There's lots of reasons, but I think it's concerning that now we have people like Trump promoting things like the vaccine conspirose and defunding COVID vaccines for people, just throwing away $500 million worth of COVID tests that they've already paid for.
I forgot
for no reason.
I really forgot about that until you're mad. That one's a big annoying bummer.
That actually just applies across the board.
Like the amount of just like the waste, like just insane waste.
It's how much his jet costs, right?
That's how much the Qatari plane costs. Yeah. I'm glad you bring it up, Aaron, because it does have to be said. Like as much as it makes our lives easier in that way, it also made RFK's life easier because we know now that there was probably, this sucks, but more mixed information, meaning some true, some miss. There was probably more mixed information than fully true information, which sucks. Like the percentage of like across the 100% of information on complex mental health, it was like somewhere in the 60th percentile was mixed information.
Yeah, and it didn't help that we had obviously Trump in power and his administration, and he was actively fighting people like Dr. Fauci and the CDC and people like that who were trying to put out real information, but I think there was a lot of pushback from the administration. And then you had the administration doing things like, I think like it complicated the matter during COVID too, when there was like the whole thing about wear a mask, don't wear a mask, stand 6 feet away. Wait, no, that's not going to help you.
Yeah, communication was bad.
Which also undermined the legitimacy of some of the advice that was put out there that was super helpful and valid. So when you have folks that are apprehensive to get a vaccine, they can look at these other sources of not misinformation, but conflicting information and use that to sort of question the credibility of the people talking about it while simultaneously kind of, shifting reality to accommodate their worldview. So it means that, sure, vaccines bad, but horse paste, ivermectin good. And it creates this weird sort of, I guess, disconnect where folks really want validation from information versus to actually seek knowledge.
Yeah, and where are the purveyors of these, the sources of this knowledge? Where do you go now? Because if you can't trust the CDC, you can't trust the government, you can't trust your Health and Human Services Secretary, you can't trust websites anymore who have .gov at the end of them. You can't trust that. And the defunding of mental health studies, of research studies, medical studies, defunding of universities, breaking up of places like Columbia University, my alma mater, which is that is infuriating in and of itself. Is like how Columbia caved to the pressures of the Trump administration. But we're having them dictate what's science, what's acceptable, and not on any sort of like peer-reviewed journal type of way, but in a purely political opinion based, non-scientific way. That will produce disastrous results.
Yeah.
And okay, so back to the medication stuff. Yeah. RFK is claiming false things about addictive qualities of even things like SSRIs. And I think he's had it out for stimulant medications. So as ADHDers, we have to be aware that RFK is coming after stimulants. ADHD is next. It's like autism is their first target, and then ADHD is a quick second.
This is the quote that I was going to bring up. One of them: "No evil on a population of people ever stays isolated to that population of people." This is a lesson we never learn, but it is important.
Yeah, always need a new scapegoat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, attacks on one group's civil rights is attacks on everyone's civil rights, human rights. We need to like really believe that that's happening. Like, let that set in. Doesn't matter if you think, oh, well, that's not related to me. No, they're attacking your rights or the rights of anyone out there. It's all of our rights.
Mm-hmm. They'll get to you eventually.
Yeah. So that's why we're doing this show too. It's just, we want people to get fired up. We want people to be aware. We want people to start speaking out about this and educating themselves, their community, their loved ones, because we all have those aunts and uncles and grandparents and other folks who, maybe not all of us have it, which is, you're lucky if you don't. But if you do, you know what I'm saying? These folks
can't relate.
Yeah.
Can't? You say can't?
Yeah. No, my
that's good.
Immediate family and relatives are on the same page, so I never have to worry about gentle parenting.
That's great.
On how these things actually are.
And Sam's folks?
That's a whole different podcast.
We love a non-answer.
We won't throw them under the bus here. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
I didn't think about it until now, but I can also concur with Devin. My on both sides, my father's side and my mother's side. There are many things to be said by way of deep principle differences, right? But we or value differences. But in terms of medical science, not a one of my family members on either side holds any of these bullshit views. Like, and thankfully so.
But you had some people that voted for Trump on your family.
God, yes. So to the degradation of and to the abuse of their family members and to the moral repugnance and attack. Like we are also a very vocal family, as both of these guys know. We're a very argumentative family, so we don't shut up if someone does something annoying. To call them out, it's mostly the men, it's mostly the uncles, and it's almost entirely financial. And I mean, like almost entirely financial.
Well, they'll be regretting that too very soon.
Of course, very soon, almost immediately. First 100 days, all of the wealthy, smart people, right? So all the smart, wealthy people, first 100 days were like, oh, fuck, they're doing a lot more quickly than we expected. We knew that there'd be shit, but we thought this was year 2 shit, not month 3 shit.
Mr. Taco Tariff
Right. No, exactly. Yeah. Like, I mean, truly, just what was it? The cognac or wine? There was for a blip, almost there was going to be the
European tariffs.
Yeah. Oh, you want to hear about the first text shot across the bow at Papa Tonti? It was a bunch of kids being like, yo, hey, how's the wine purchasing going? How's the wine buddies doing? You guys a little bummed?
All right. Well,
hit them where it hurts. Okay, but anyway, let's wrap out with a charge, because you gave us a good charge there at the end, Aaron. Aaron and Devin and I send each other and the rest of our team videos of RFK. We talk about this. We text each other about it. If you for a second think that we are not boiling inside of our skin at the sight of RFK, I'll speak for myself. Anytime I see his face on the screen, I truly start boiling. Like, I get that itchy hot skin thing. And it's because of it's rage. It's pure, unadulterated rage and pain. As my therapist said this week, the deeper into our pain we go, the closer we get to our values. And I think that this has been a good example of us diving into our pain over this man and the shit that he's saying. He's an American. He's one of you. So shut the fuck up. He's one of you. He's one of us, and he's representing us. And we have to be angry about it. We have to do something about that, because it's not just embarrassing. It's lethal. It's lethal that this person is in this position. And thank you, Aaron, for calling this panel together so that we could share our feelings and get some of the facts out there. But I'm betting that you and Devin and we all want to hear more. We want to hear from anybody listening. Please jump in the comments. Join us on any page. Aaron, you can kind of wrap us out there. Where can people come and have this conversation?
On Instagram, follow us at attention_different. Come to our YouTube channel. We got a lot of videos up there, educational materials for folks. We have our podcast, and you can go to attentiondifferent.com and sign up there for various resources that we have, our newsletters, and engage in this conversation. Get out there. Do your thing. If you want to share with us a video or personal experience, we'd love to have those too. We want to platform your voices as well. Feel free to share a video with us. You can share it with attentiondifferent@gmail.com if you want. That'll come to our team. And we just hope that coming together as a community, we're more powerful than these individuals, even though they have these platforms at this time. But we have to remember, we've been around.
Yeah.
Right. Our neurodiversity, our brainwire has been around before them. It's going to be around after them. Mm-hmm. And what we need to do at this point is stand together in solidarity, work together to get these people out of those positions of power as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Get back to real science, real education, and love.
Get back to love.
Kindness. Come on.
So join us, send us stuff, please. I'm so thankful Aaron made that call. Send attentiondifferent@gmail. We will take your thoughts. We want your thoughts. We are going to be presenting many more voices in this company for the years to come, hopefully well past RFK's time in office. Check back in. We've got Devin releasing podcasts of his own soon. We've got Aaron and I doing our thing where we've got a Substack now where Aaron and I go back and forth more deeply personal about our experiences as ADHD adults. We've got an Instagram. Share insights. We have so many platforms that you can come and get real truth-based information, scientific fact-based information on your brain and what to do about this beautiful thing that we call neurodiversity. And without further ado, check back in next week. Hopefully we'll be talking about anything else.